All right, people. I've said many times that white people are the least racist people on the planet. How do I know this, and why do I have some really strong statements? It's because I moved to Australia when I was 19 years old. I never experienced any racism, any discrimination. So much so that I often used to ask myself, how nice are these people? Why do they not see that this guy is a brown man, Pakistani, and my English wasn't even that good when I first came here? I always wanted to speak like an Aussie, though. So I was always a work in progress. But conversely, though, I have also noticed that many migrants from non white backgrounds accuse the locals of racism, but instead, they're actually racist themselves. I have known this for a very long time, but I never really got to talk about this. I have made some tweets about it.
We had a run club that was made for people like me. By that, I mean South Asians. South Asian run clubs have been on the rise across Australia and in other parts of the world. Oh my God. Their goal is to help more South Asians find a sense of community and promote a sense of belonging, something that some South Asians haven't felt in Australia.
South Asians are one of the fastest growing populations, immigrant populations in Australia, and with that, a lot of people are trying to find their way, trying to meet people, make friendships, relationships, whatever it might be, and it's not a organic, relaxed way to do that.
I had no idea what I signed up for. And then I showed up and there's like 40 people here.
I'm actually new. I moved this week from Auckland. Amazing to see such a turnout and like a lot of people, a lot of brown people.
It's hard to meet other South Asian people in Melbourne sometimes. I grew up surrounded by people not from my ethnicity, and I guess it's good. People are trying to find ways to reconnect. A good way of doing that is through a run club.
So have a look at this new explosive report by The Telegraph, where they investigated and found out that Muslims in Britain are advertising houses, jobs for Muslims only. Have a listen to it. This is Camilla of Telegraph.
A Telegraph investigation has found that landlords are illegally advertising for Muslim-only tenants. Our investigation has found literally hundreds of listings on social media sites suggesting that only Muslim tenants must apply. This is, of course, in contravention of the Equalities Act 2010, which states...
But the reason why it hasn't been noticed is because it's against the whites. If it was the other way around, they would have been screwed. And maybe rightly so. If you want to create a perfectly harmonious, integrated society, not parallel societies, then you have to remove discriminations. The problem is the whites managed to convince their own people, but they failed to apply the same standards on the non-whites.
That landlords cannot discriminate against tenants according to their religion. The ads were listed on 3 websites, Facebook, Telegram and Gumtree. We approached all 3 companies, but only Facebook got back to us to say that they had taken down a page that featured dozens of Muslim-only adverts. Have a listen to this. This is my colleague trying to get in touch with one of the landlords advertising a Muslim-only property.
I saw on it though, it said it's available for a Muslim boy or Muslim girl. I'm not a Muslim. Would I still be able to rent it at all?
No way.
Is there just anything I could reasonably say or do as a non-Muslim in which you'd rent this to me?
No, I couldn't do that.
And yet, hundreds of these listings continue to be posted on social media, advertising properties throughout the capital.
Do you want to look at some of those adverts themselves? Tommy Robinson obviously posted them. Well done, Tommy. But look at this. Single room available. All bills included. Available for a Muslim girl or a boy in a peaceful house. Have a look at another one. 1 bed space available for rent in East London. I don't know why anyone would want to live there, but sure. And guess what? Location highlights. Situated on Monaco Road, close to Kuba Mosque. Just 10 minutes walk to Uptown Park Station. Nearby access to shops, markets, and daily amenities. Suitable for Gujarati Muslim student only. Not even just any Muslim. They don't want African Muslims. They don't want Middle Eastern Muslims. They want specifically a Gujarati Muslim. Why? Because these people are probably Gujaratis. 1 Muslim male needed. Attached kitchen, bathroom, studio flat. No, sharing a studio flat. And you want to share it with a Muslim man. Closest station, Becontree, Dagenham. I know where that is. Shithole. An absolute shithole. Only 5 minutes walk to Uptown Park Station. Oh my God, £800 rent. 2 professional boys and girls. Only for Muslims. Do you know why that is? why that discrimination exists? It's because of this.
Enforce the Muslims to take up their British values. Now, we don't like your culture. We don't like your gambling and your homosexuality and your promiscuity.
But we're happy to live in your country and turn it into the shithole we escaped from.
And your man-made laws. We don't like that. I think what we've got is better. We'll keep to that. No thanks.
So the British government or these bleeding heart, lefty, tree-hugging, woke lunatics will tell you that, oh, it's just a fringe group of people. You know, every country has extremist people. Their values are playing out in plain sight. This is the reason why you don't see white people in Muslim neighborhoods. That's the reason. They're saying it openly. They're broadcasting it openly. They've been doing that for decades with no opposition. Anyone who raised a voice against them was labeled a far-right bigot, but it's playing out in the public. You have seen what kind of a society it creates. You see East London, you see Hounslow, Tower Hamlets, parts of Birmingham. Well, actually not parts of Birmingham. Half of Birmingham is gone. And guess what? This is why I've actually become a bigger believer that multiculturalism seldom works, even from non-hostile cultures. There are always good and bad in everything, but I'm conflicted on this idea whether there is more good or there's more bad. Because have a look at this. It's happening in Australia, but the culprits in Australia are not Muslims. Well, actually, Muslims will be doing that too. Have a look at this. Jordan H. Knight, he said, go on Gumtree right now and search Indian only, and you'll see Australians are being actively discriminated against in their own country. So I said, okay, let's try it. So I put Indian only, Australia. Look at this, furnished room in Craigieburn, Indian only. Room for rent in Southern River, Indian students only. Single room for rent in Callum Vale, I don't know where that is. Punjabi Indian girls. Oh, Punjabi Indian girls. Might be a creepy Indian man too, you never know. Indian couple only. Indian female students, pure vegetarian. So if you're an Indian who eats meat, you're not welcome. Room for rent in Pakenham. It's the last suburb on the southeastern line. It's like about an hour and 15 minutes from the CBD. Only for Indian female. It's happening at scale. Actually, let me try Muslims only. I want to be fair to Indians. Let's have a look. How could we be disappointed? Look at that. Muslim female only personal training. Okay. Sports massages. Okay, fine. Room for rent, Muslim girls. I can understand a Muslim girl doesn't want to live with a man, or any woman doesn't want to live with a man. She doesn't want to share a house. That's okay. But landlords should not be allowed to advertise that. This is open discrimination. The reason why I wanted to talk about this, and the reason why I'm a firm believer that white people are the least racist people on earth. I have lived in Australia as a young adult. Well, I came to Australia when I was 19. In 2003, I was 19 years old back then. My first job was at Myer in Chadstone as a sales agent, sales assistant. I remember the interview process. I was a full freshie. I remember that Aussie man who interviewed me. He asked me questions. I think I did reasonably well, and I got a casual job, and I did that for 2 years, and then I worked at a service station. This is when I was going to my uni, and I was allowed to work 20 hours a week, okay? I never went over because I was worried that if I breach my student visa conditions, then I might get deported to a shithole, which I'm sorry, I didn't want to go back, okay? I say it, I admit it. I just don't understand all these economic migrants who come to these beautiful Western countries, but they still love their home countries. Why? If it was so fucking good, why did you move to a Western country? Why? And then when they come here, they turn the West into the shithole they came from. So I never experienced any racism. So my personal experience will always be there with me. And that's why it was one of the primary ingredients that I fell in love with Australia. I was like, these people are so nice. Why are they so nice to me? I used to ask them, why are you so nice? Because I was still a Pakistani. I knew how Pakistanis saw non-Muslims. I know how Pakistanis viewed their Hindu communities or their Christian communities. They had derogatory terms for them. But these people are so nice. I thought Aussies were racist, but they're not. I go to a cricket club. Everyone embraces me. There was a key difference, though. I never pretended that, hey, look at me, I'm a brown Muslim man, I'm so proud to be a Pakistani. Even though I used to support the Pakistani cricket team when I'd go to the G, I would support Pakistan, but Aussies are sitting next to me. No one would be offended by that. I don't support that horrendous cricket team anymore. And I was like, why should I support that shitty cricket team? They always lose anyway. I am lucky to be living in a country that has the best cricket team ever. Yeah, sure, they used to give me nightmares in the 90s, back in the days of Wasim Akram and Shoaib Akhtar, because I grew up watching them. But once they retired, it became really easy for me to just reject that whole country. I wish them well, but I am just not them. I just don't like their values, their system, their culture. I just don't like it. Maybe that's the reason why I never gave off that supremacist vibe that most culturalists do. Most people do for some reason. Even people from third world shitty cultures, even they are proud of their cultures. I'm like, bro, why are you proud of that culture? Look at that culture. Look what is given to you. It's a shitty culture. Aren't you lucky that you can say goodbye to that and be a part of this amazing, beautiful, wonderful country? I'm not under any drugs or anything, but I have this enormous sense of gratitude for Australia. And which is why my love and my dedication transcends beyond just Australia. This is why I love the UK. My video editor, he's Irish, and he's like, no, please take off the Union Jack. I'm like, sorry. You know, the UK is the mother of all of our Anglo countries. So anyway, the UK, and of course, the US, and of course, Australia, and Canada, and New Zealand. I feel like there is no noble cause than to preserve these countries' original values and restore them. Oh, speaking of restore. So restore Britain, which is why I love Rupert Lowe more than any other politician at the moment. I know he's a politician, but, you know, the more horrible things we see pan out in Britain, the harsher his rhetoric gets. And the more love he gets from the public, including me. So have a look at Rupert Lowe's latest message on this. An investigation by The Telegraph has found that landlords are illegally advertising for Muslim-only tenants across London. Disgraceful. Restore Britain will reverse the creeping Islamification of our country. My ex, who's a full-on Aussie, she's got an Anglo name, Anglo background. Her mother was Irish, though, so that's why she had a problem with Britain. But her dad was Aussie 6-7 generations back. So when she was going into a workforce, she applied for a job at Coles in Northcote, and the manager was Greek. So she applied for a job, she didn't get it. And then she fake applied a job and it added a name, Papadopoulos or something at the end. And she immediately got a phone call. So her mother called Coles at that time and she said, this is discrimination. I understand. I think people tend to do that, but it is a job of the government to stop that from happening. Because if the whites are following the law and the rules of the game and other communities are not, then it's unfair to the whites. And you are basically creating a two-tiered society. And that should never be allowed. Look what happened to the UK. It just never works. And look, it happened in Canada as well. Look at this one. I just saw this. Ottawa's public transportation system showing off their new hires, hiring foreigners over their own people. Indians only make 2% of the population in Ottawa, yet it's only them being prioritized for jobs. Look at them. There's one Canadian. Is she Canadian? Could be Indian. I don't know. That's one Canadian guy. 1, 2, 3. 3 Canadian people that I can see. They were probably in the management and they were probably the ones doing the hiring. So please don't do that. You are playing with the patience of the dominant majority native white population in all of these countries. You are provoking them. You are being unfair to them, and you are creating a society where we're going to end up with a lot of angry white men who will be justified. And that's not going to be pretty for anyone.